have some tasks that need to be completed in the kitchen. I want to get dinner started during this nap time, and I also want to make a coffee cake because Christmas desserts are just so fun to me. And then I'm hoping to get started on a special sewing project for the holidays. While I do all of that, I want to talk to you guys about how I approach Christmas as a minimal-ish person. For dinner tonight, I'm making something that I've never made before, which is a lemon, garlic, broccoli, chicken sheet pan. I don't really do a lot of sheet pan meals, so I'm excited to give this a try because it feels easy, and I need to be better about thinking about these kind of meals. Okay, like I said, I want to talk about what I do at Christmas as a minimal-ish person. I'm not like super minimalist by any means, but what I do at Christmas in order to avoid overwhelm. That's what minimalism is to me. A lot of it is just to avoid feeling really, really overwhelmed in my home. There is definitely a part of me that cares about the sustainability aspect of minimalism, but for the large portion, I find that it's just really what works best for me and my family. Is if we have less stuff, there's less to clean up, and there's just less to keep organized in our home. So first of all, we are really pretty lucky because we are a pretty gift minimal family. My family does hardly any gifts at all, and the gifts on my husband's side are pretty low key as well. My approach to giving a minimal gift and a sustainable gift is usually either giving a consumable. So I like to bake something or make something for someone, or I like to give a very high quality essential. So that is just something that feels minimalist because obviously we all need stuff. And so if you can gift really high quality essentials rather than gifting junk, that feels really good and just kind of like more sustainable, better for the planet, better for the receiver. And I would take a way less flashy approach and just do one really high quality essential. That's kind of like how we're giving gifts whenever we have gifts that we need to give. This recipe ended up being so tasty and so easy. So all I'm doing is cutting up potatoes, lemons, onions, smashing some garlic, and throwing down some broccoli onto this sheet pan. And then I'm adding the chicken like I said. Everything got coated in olive oil, paprika, oregano, lime juice, and salt and pepper. I let all the veggies on the sheet pan roast for about 20 minutes and then added the chicken for about the last 20, all at around 425 degrees. This was so tasty. So the other thing is that we don't do a whole lot of gifts for each other. Me and my spouse don't. We desire this year to stuff each other's stockings and stuff our daughter's stockings, but that will be mostly consumables. If it's something that's not consumable, it'll be something that we know the other person needs and will use a lot of, and it'll be something pretty darn small. I know that the big question that everybody has is how do you stop the overwhelming amount of stuff coming into your home? And while I said we're not a very big gift family, we do have a lot of Christmases. So we usually have 5 Christmases to go to, and our daughter is receiving gifts at all of those things, as are we. Well, not all of them, the majority of them, as are we. So a lot of stuff comes into the house. I want to talk a little bit about how to control that. The first thing that I have found that works really, really well, for us at least, is being upfront in having a list, at least for my daughter. I know that this can be really aggressive because there's just like, it's just a little bit uncomfortable to tell people like what you need or what you want them to get you. But it's the only way that we found Christmas to be manageable. And I just really struggled with the amount of waste, because when I didn't do this, we got a lot of stuff and none of it was usable for us for one reason or another. Not because they were bad gifts, they were fine gifts, but just it wasn't usable for our lifestyle or for my home decor style or for what we needed. And whenever I started actually giving a list, I started receiving gifts that we really like and use. It can be expensive to buy some of those better for you or healthy brands, but those are things that I love to have in my kitchen. I love that Merrifield is a free app that makes it easy and fun to save money on healthy brands, which is exactly why I'm excited to introduce them as a sponsor of today's video. Merrifield is a completely free app that rewards its users for shopping for better for you brands. All you have to do is shop, scan your receipt, and then you automatically earn points towards the healthier brands that you bought. And you can even link your Whole Foods or Instacart accounts for automatic points earning. Points are redeemable for gift cards to Starbucks, Amazon, Sephora, and many other retailers. And you can earn points on brands like Applegate, Amy's, Bragg, Hue, and more. These are all brands that we are buying semi-regularly around our house, so it is awesome to be able to earn points on those purchases. If you are anything like me and you are frequently stocking your kitchen with better for you brands, make sure to head to the link in my description or scan the QR code to go download Merrifield so you can start earning points on those purchases. Thanks so much to Merrifield for sponsoring today's video. The plan is for that chicken to kind of marinate a little bit and then let these vegetables roast. And then when they are done roasting, I'm gonna toss in this chicken to cook it with them. I want to get started on a sourdough, I think it's a sourdough discard, a sourdough coffee cake, because that just sounds like a tasty treat to have. Okay, so back to the gifts, giving a list thing. If this is something that makes you feel uncomfortable, I actually totally understand, because every year it does feel kind of weird and aggressive. Something that I have found that at least makes me feel better is not having a list with like direct links, and therefore giving people the opportunity to kind of pick out something, still get kind of like the thrill of shopping for Christmas, but also they're getting things that they know you'll use, which I feel like as a gift giver is a really good feeling. If you're wondering how you could possibly make a list of something that you don't actually have to send links to, maybe something like crib sheets, sleepers, a baby monitor, a white comforter. If you and your husband need a kitchen tool, that would be a good way to do it, and just kind of relinquish that control of getting to choose that particular tool. I am out of basically every single ingredient, so if this doesn't turn out, I cannot blame anyone but myself, and I'm doing it all wrong. I'm trying to decide how much I care about that. I feel like I should do the crumb topping first. Okay. So as you can imagine, this strategy is not 100% foolproof. So in those cases, I am just okay with stuff going to Goodwill. I do have some tips on how to make Christmas more sustainable, but as far as being a minimalist, I have decided that sometimes I just have to be okay with stuff going to Goodwill for the price of our sanity here. And whenever we get things that just won't work, we try to either give them to a family member that they will work for or repurpose them. But if that's not possible, stuff just goes to Goodwill. And we just have to be okay with that as a trade for our piece. Ooh, that's hot. I'm not much of a baker because I'm not precise enough. I feel like that needs even more. Okay, sustainability. These are two things that we have both personally done in the past and they have worked really, really well. We've actually done this with birthdays and not always Christmas. First of all, asking for healthy snacks or just snacks if you're not worried about that. That has really worked well for us. This past year for my daughter, we even did a snack themed birthday party and we had so many good healthy snacks from that and good healthy snack ideas that I hadn't thought about. And we had a snack stash for a long time, which was very, very beneficial. So I do definitely recommend doing that because it was so nice. And again, no waste. That was really cool and no added clutter to our home. The other thing that we have done is we have gone out of our way to say, hey, like they really want this gift. It's way cheaper on Marketplace. We found it, we'll pick it up and we'll do basically all the work for you to give her a gift off of Marketplace. And that has worked really well. It's a little bit more sustainable because you are buying secondhand and it kind of takes the pressure of them having to find the item secondhand off of them. So that is of course very aggressive and will not work for everybody, but we have a couple family members that just really prefer that level of directness and it works really, really well. Quick pause from the cake because I do feel like it's time to add the chicken to this sheet pan. Oh, this is gonna be good. Hopefully this works. It says to combine the dry ingredients separately, so I suppose for the very first time, I will listen. So that is basically our strategy with gifts. That's how we treat gifts that we give, gifts that we are given. I want to talk about how we also approach our decorations with minimalism, but I want to wrap up here in the kitchen, get this cake ready, and then head to my sewing cutting table, and that's where I can talk about all of that with you while I cut out my very special project. I am following my sister's recipe from Farmhouse on Boone for her sourdough coffee cake. This ended up being really, really tasty, but I did make a lot of subs. The most notable sub is that instead of doing 1.5 cups of milk, I did a can of coconut milk, and it actually turned out totally fine and was really, really good, and it baked really well. If you guys watched my Japan video, you might recognize this fabric. I bought a very significant amount of yardage because we are doing handmade matching Christmas pajamas this year. I don't know if you guys will get to see the end result. I don't want this project to become stressful, but I need to start working on it today. So that is why you guys are gonna see some of the cutting, and hopefully I'll show you the end result. If not, just know that that is what's being made with this. Okay, I will have to cut slow because linen is very shifty. I am excited to get this started. So what I wanted to talk about while I might need a new blade. What I wanted to talk about while I cut out my fabric is how we approach decorations minimally. I actually briefly mentioned this in my Christmas home tour video, but basically we have taken the approach of collecting decorations very, very slowly. It's really important to me that one, we don't just add to the landfills with decor every year. That's not to say that I'm perfect at it or I've never bought something that I then changed my mind on and took to Goodwill. But I really try to only get timeless decor that I'm really going to love for a long time and many, many years. And I really just like the idea of seeing the same pieces over and over again when we pull out our Christmas decor. I think that really excites me as well. So because of that, I also want that feeling. And if your decorations are gonna feel like old friends, you have to keep them for a long time. So that is definitely really, really important to us. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so cute. Okay, funny enough, I am not too particular about everything being thrifted, though I do have a lot of thrifted Christmas decor. I don't make an effort to make it all thrifted because the sustainability aspect for me comes in the fact that I want to keep it for so many years. And so because of that, I worry a little bit less about it being new or secondhand and a lot more just that we're gonna love it for a long time. That said, we have Christmas decor from Target, our trees from Walmart. We've got some pieces from IKEA. I'm not super particular about it all being thrifted. And then of course we do have a lot of thrifted stuff, but it's definitely just more important to me that we're not bringing in clutter and instead we're doing our best to either sew or collect heirloom pieces for Christmas decor. This sewing pattern does feel rather elaborate for a 2-year-old, but speaking of minimalism, this is not. If there's any year to do it, this is fun. So sometimes I think that whenever I or anyone makes these videos, we can kind of make minimalism seem like some holy trait. And I don't want, if you're not a minimalist or don't care about this kind of stuff, I don't want you to feel shame in that. Outside of like outright waste, this is not a holy trait. It's just what actually makes life and the holidays easier for my family. And everyone's going to have their own version of what looks minimal to them. And so I feel like every time one of these videos gets made, people either get defensive or they attack and they're like, well, you're not minimalist because you own this or that. I don't believe this to be some holy trait that you should aspire to. It's just actually how we make the holidays and life a little bit easier for us. I hope that this video was helpful and I hope that you guys are getting in some really fun Christmas baking, some exciting new meals, maybe even some sewing projects. And thank you just so much for joining me here on Our Sweet Sunny Days. I'll see you guys next week. As for me, right now, I'm going to try and wrap up this cutting project and see how far I can get on these jammies. Have a good week.